Most men don't lose their back in a day. It's something that builds over time. There may be an event that triggers something, but often it's stuff like sitting too much for 10 years or always skipping the warm-up, because that kind of stuff can quietly catch up with you. You know, I ran a strength gym in Toronto for 14 years, and I saw a lot of people come through my door that had already crossed that line. And in my late 60s now, while I've been lucky enough never to have a back injury, I feel it. You know, there's stiffness there. It takes a little longer to get going in the morning. But I decided not to panic. I built a plan, and in this video, I'd like to share some of it with you. Now, here's what that actually looks like day to day. There's really three basic parts to it. First of all, I try to keep the tissues moving. Secondly, I practice the hip hinge pattern, and I'm using proper deadlift technique. And thirdly, I carry heavy things often. Now, before I get anything loaded, I need to get the tissues moving and do a little mobility. So I usually start with some foam rolling, and that helps work through the stiff spots. Cat-cow, that opens up the spine. I almost think of it doing it segment by segment. And dead bugs, those are really good for waking up the core, and it doesn't load the back at all. You just try and keep your lower back on the floor nice and flat. Glute bridges, and there's different variations you can do. You can even get up on your shoulders and do a shoulder bridge walk. And all this stuff gets the hips firing before they're asked to do real work. I have a bit of an issue with some structural kyphosis, so I spend a lot of time doing some extension work. I find the cobra holds useful, back extensions, upward facing dog. I'll look one direction, then the other, up in the air, and finish in a child's pose to relax the lower back. A few minutes every session, no exceptions. Then it's the actual strength work. And the hinge pattern is super important, because the hinge is the pattern that either protects your back for life or it wrecks it. It really depends on whether or not you own it. So you want to get your hips back, your spine should be neutral, your back flat, load stays close to your body. Even on something like a kettlebell swing, I want to make sure I load the posterior chain properly. So I'm not just yanking it off the floor, I'm being mindful not to round my back. I'm sitting back on the heels, and I'm making sure I really engage those hamstrings before I pull. It's all about control. The last piece is carrying heavy things, because that's really the ultimate test of how your back holds up. I mean, in real life, you don't have the opportunity to hinge perfectly under a barbell. In real life, you're moving furniture, you're hauling gear, I'm moving a bench across the other side of my patio, or I may be carrying bags of lime to do some yard work. If your back can't hold up to real physical labor, then the gym work hasn't really done its job. No weightlifting straps or belt needed out here. I'm just picking heavy things up off the ground and carrying them where they need to go. putting stuff away for me generally means a farmer's walk. So something heavy in both hands, out across the lawn and up the driveway. This is totally grip and core. It's the whole system really working together under real load, not just one muscle in isolation. Same carry, different day. This one's timed and tracked. I'll often use farmer's walks as a finisher to a workout, and I'll generally do one-arm carries anywhere from 60 seconds up to 2 minutes per side. Now, I should say that none of this has anything to do with repairing a back problem or fixing a pre-existing injury. This is really about capability. I want to be able to load my truck. I want to be able to chop firewood and stack it. It's that kind of thing. That's the real goal. So it's not just to be pain-free just for the sake of it. It's really to be pain-free so you can live an active lifestyle for as long as possible. That's what we're after. If you're facing similar issues, or maybe you find at this age you have to think about your lower back and your joints a bit differently, let me know in the comments. I read them all.